FlossTube. I'm back. It's Geraldine. This is my channel about cross stitch and crafts, mostly cross stitch. It is Monday, January 23rd. It's been roughly a week since my last FlossTube. So yeah, welcome. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. I hope you stay a while and check things out. And if you're returning, thanks for being a loyal watcher. I wrote some notes, still in my work attire, because I wanted to just quick pop on and get this done because I didn't film this weekend because I was doing 24 hours of cross stitch, so I have some things to share. So today I want to talk a little bit about 24 hours of cross stitch, how that went for me. I have a few other whips to show you, some hauls and plans, and then I have a special unboxing for you. So first, 24 hours of cross stitch. That is an event that's put on 4 times a year by Jen Lee. She goes by Quirks and Stitches on Instagram. Definitely follow her. It was super fun watching her all of last year. She turned 40 just like I did in 2022, and she did 40 new starts for her birthday year. So yeah, it was really interesting and fun to kind of watch her on Instagram do all of her starts, and she has like a very specific system for how she decides when she starts what kind of themes, and she's very interesting to watch. So check her out. She also has a YouTube channel where they talk about 24 hours of cross stitch. I think it's Jen Lee. I will make sure and put it in the details below. So I did participate. So I'm sorry. So she does it 4 times a year. This month, last year, was the very first time that I participated. I didn't keep track. I think I participated 2 or 3 times. So I took a few like snapshot quick videos of my projects that I worked on this weekend. And so I will insert them here. All right, it is Friday afternoon. I just got home from work. This was not in the plans until I saw a Facebook post, so I'll explain. This is Leela Studios Nevermore with my Roxy Floss Co. conversion. And this is how far I am. I started this July 16th, 2022, and I am stitching it on a 40 count Picture This Plus in, I think the fabric name is French Linen is what I have written down, but let me see. No, French Vanilla. Picture This Plus Linen 40 count in French Vanilla is the color. I would say it's a little creamier, a little more beige than what is showing up in the camera in real life. But this is my progress. And it is Edgar Allan Poe's birthday today. And this, of course, is The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Oh my goodness, words. It's been a really long week. So I'm excited to sit down with some stitching. And I think I decided today that I'm going to do like a little baby vlog of my 24 hours of cross stitch. So I am at 0 hours, and I will keep you posted as I switch projects and check in with time. So I don't know where I'm going to work on this today. So I will check in when I'm done working on this piece. All right, it's been about an hour and 45 minutes, and this is what I got done. So I finished the thread in here. It was a pretty long one, so I think it was like 3 or 4 rows in here, and then I did Quoth the Raven, and then added these 2 medallions. I decided to stop because I'm struggling a little bit with like what color I want these other medallions to be. So I don't know, I need to think a little bit more about like where I want to go from here. So that kind of stopped me. And this wasn't in my original plan for projects this weekend. So I'm glad I touched it, got some good stitching in. I really do like working on this piece a lot. I just got to figure out my game plan. So I will show you what I'm going to work on next. So this is Isabella's heart. I will put up a picture of where I started since I last showed you this last weekend in my FlossTube. I think last week I had like the red here done. I hadn't started this pink flower. And I think I only had a little bit of this border here. So I brought the border around to make sure I had, so I had the spacing off here, and I didn't realize it without having to like frog a whole chunk down here. So I kind of fudged this a little bit to make it work. I think it looks great. And then I had to like add something in here at some point, but it had been so long since I worked on it, I couldn't remember if I had added one here or not. So I brought it down and did all the counting, and then like double checked my counting by counting all of my rows that I had this way, and I did have it right. And then I brought the red. Oh, I was struggling with like counting these and getting it right. So anyway, so I brought the red over and then over and up here just to make sure that I had the borders right before I could start on the bird. And then I think my most recent work was 2 nights ago. I got the bird done, and then last night I just did a little bit around with this white in here and all the white in the leaves. So I don't know quite how many stitches I have left. I think it might be right around 3,000. I feel like a lot of it will go pretty fast, like all this fill in here. That flower is not a lot of color changes. It feels really cool to touch it like this. I don't love stitching with 2 strands, but I have really enjoyed this piece with 2 strands, and just it's different than a lot of my other pieces. And it's pretty. It looks great. I love the simplicity. Like, it's complex enough that it's interesting, but then the complexity that is added with the variegated threads for the pink and the red is just, it's really great. So this is going to be my piece for, I think, a good chunk of the night tonight to see how much I can get done. I think my plan is to do as much counting as I need to tonight. So probably this flower here, work on the bird, get like some of those leaves filled in here. So that like the easy, I know I said last week I'm not going to leave my borders to last, but I feel like this is an easy border. So I feel like I can get this border in pretty easily, and it'll feel quick at the end to just get that done. So, all right, off to stitch. Good morning. It is Saturday morning, and I have not started stitching yet this morning. This is the progress that I made last night on Isabella's Heart by Modern Folk Embroidery. My tablet died when I wasn't quite ready to be done stitching. So let's see, I got most of the white in. I think I'm just missing a few random sprinkles of the white. I stitched this big flower motif, just kind of filled in, got the heart done, and then once my tablet died, I just started on the border. So I finished the white, and then filled in the pink down almost to the corner here. And then across the top, I had every 10 was blank in the red that I was using for counting. So I went in and I filled those, and then with the extra floss, because I didn't want to go backwards stitching in hand, I came down the side here. And so when I want to fill the red in, I'll go this way. Yeah, so I still have like 2,000 stitches left. I underestimated last night how many stitches I had to go, but in Pattern Keeper I have about 2,000, maybe a little bit more. I do think there's a lot of stitching here in the border that will be pretty fast and easy. There's a bulk of stitching in this bird here, which took me a couple hours, maybe 3 hours to do this one. So when I was doing my plans for 24 hours of cross stitch, I gave this piece 4 hours to finish. I worked on it 4 hours yesterday, and I still have 2,000 stitches left. So my goal is now to maybe finish this today. So we'll see. I don't know how much stitching I'm going to get done today. We have plans this evening, and I still haven't quite figured out how to like stitch and socialize with people who don't stitch. So I think there probably won't be a lot of stitching once our friends come over tonight, but I will check in a little bit later with some progress. So it's Sunday afternoon. It's about 3:30. I've been bad about filming, and then I didn't really get a chance to stitch a whole lot yesterday at all. I think I got just under 6 hours in total between the socializing things, kind of, the things I needed to do around the house, and then resting from just kind of this ongoing yuck that I've had off and on since before Christmas. So I felt like that was important, but I really didn't have a ton to update you on because I have only worked on this piece. So I am now 16 hours and 22 minutes in to the 24 hours, and I have officially finished Isabella's Heart by Modern Folk Embroidery. I'm gonna get a little closer. We've got overcast skies today. It's been snowing but not sticking. So I've got a little bit of light here to show off this piece. So I'm excited to have this done. I almost pulled out Dream of Winter Garden by Modern Folk Embroidery yesterday, but I made myself stick with this, which is, I'm glad I did because it definitely took way longer than I thought it would. So, but I'm excited. I have another finish. I have like this growing pile of finishes on my craft table that need frames and to get laced. So I need to measure this piece and see if I can make it work in a standard frame or if I need to make one. So yeah, I forgot to grab what I'm going to stitch on next, so I'll do that real quick. Okay, so here is my Elizabeth Ann can stitch bag in use. I think my next stitch is going to be There Is Always Room by the wonderful Ellen Reed of Maximum Cross Stitch. I have no idea. I think I might work on the border, getting some more of the color in. Maybe I'll work on the house. The last thing I had done on this piece was this vase, so maybe I'll get the other vase and then I can kind of build it. I don't really know. We'll see how I feel, but I'm motivated to work on this one today and kind of see how long I want to work on that. The other one that has been calling my name is Turkish Delight. Let's see if I can pull that out quick so I don't show the chart. That is this Rosewood Manor piece with the Roxy Flasco conversion. And I think you haven't seen this. I started this last Sunday after my most recent FlossTube. And this is what I have done so far. I love it. It's beautiful. I have been posting it on Instagram, so if you follow me there. But this is a 46 count. I think I'm stitching it on porcelain by Roxy Flasco. Don't ask me why I picked 46 count. It's beautiful. It will be super tiny and I love it. But it's big. But anyways, these are the two pieces that I'll probably work on. I haven't been good about I think part of the reason I haven't checked in is because I'm stitching in my living room and then I come up to my craft room to I would come up to my craft room to film and I haven't. So I haven't been doing that. So I figured if I show you these two pieces that are probably the rest of the day, I can check in at the end and show you what I've worked on. So I'll see you in a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to get to 24 hours, but we're going to try and get close. All right, see you later. All right. So I think I left off with Sunday afternoon, and I had quite a bit of hours to go. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it, and there were two projects that I was going to work on. So you just saw that. You probably didn't need reminding of that, but I did work on those two things. I love this piece. I want to keep stitching on this. I love everything about it. Because it's on 46 count, like who decided that I should put it on 46 count? It was me. But like, what was I thinking? Past me, what were you thinking? So I actually got quite a bit done. So previously when I had worked on this, I had wanted to like keep going around so that I don't have to switch colors as much. But I really wanted to see like what this motif would look like. There are like 2 carnations that come out with stems here, and then like a carnation here and a carnation here, and then that's like, it does that all around, and that's kind of the inside border that's stitched in that beautiful, is it Great Lakes? I don't remember. Seize the Day, Great Lakes, one of those dark blues that I love. And I think will go really well with the rest of these colors. So I want to see kind of what this motif looks like, and then I will make myself go back and build these other matching flowers. But yeah, I'm really loving how that is going. I don't know how great the lighting is going to be today. It's quite overcast here. Trying out my new spot with my pile of finishes behind me. Because I have a lot to FFO. Like, I haven't finished enough to like have a secret like squirreled away spot to keep my finishes, because I'm afraid I'll put them away and then not finish them or fully finish them. So they're just sitting out on my desk for right now, my craft table for now. I need to go buy wood. That's been the barrier, is going to the hardware store to get the trim to start making frames. All right, so that was the Turkish Delight. I worked on that for about 3 hours, which got me up to about 19-ish hours towards the 24 hours. I think if my math is, I should look at my book quick instead of lying to you. So I use my book of days to keep track of all things stitchy by Needlework Press. And so I just added a bunch of lined pages, like notebook pages in the back, because that just works best for me. If it's too fancy, then I don't write on it. And so I'm almost there, sorry. Okay, so 24 hours of cross stitch. That is. I'm also trying to keep like a little log of kind of what's going on so that I can look back at that. Nothing crazy, like not hardcore journaling or anything, but just like every few days to every week, just kind of what's going on and how my stitching is going. Anyways, so yeah, from about 16 hours and 22 minutes to 19 hours and 45 minutes, I worked on Turkish Delight. And then from 1945 to 23 hours and 15 minutes, I worked on There Is Always Room by the fabulous Ellen Reed of Maximum Cross Stitch Designs. She has a FlossTube, Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour. Check her out. She's super fun to watch. She's got adorable animals too. She had a picture of Fiona, one of her kitties, on Instagram, helping her with her stitching this weekend. She's adorable. And then she actually has, I'm totally squirreling, it's been a day. She's got a picture of Wayne. I love that name for a cat. It's amazing. So that's Wayne, one of her other kitties. Her last YouTube video, she showed like these embroidery, was it needlepoint or embroidery, that she like designed and stitched herself, like drew and stitched of herself of her animals that she's had. Both, some of them are still alive and some of them have passed away. So funny, but so awesome, and I just totally enjoyed seeing those. Super fun. I am not that wonderful of an artist. So anyways, so for about 3.5 hours is the math on There Is Always Room. And I will show you. It's like not super earth-shattering compared to what you saw. It's wrinkly. I stitch in hand. For those of you who are new here, you are going to see wrinkle projects until they're finished, because if I iron them, then I lose my curl that I use to hold it within my hand. So this red border was just enough over to like one strand of Fallu Redworth to get me up to the grass to like start building the house. So I filled that whole red border in. And then I did all of the yellow. So I had those 4 flowers filled in before I started. And I went around, and that was my goal last night once I finished that red, was to get all of the yellow in for the flowers. So Lori Sykes started this, like officially started the stitch along for Ellen's chart. And she posted a picture of, she has like all of her border done and the bottom basket, the bottom left basket. And so she had put that update yesterday on Instagram, and that really like motivated me to go back to the border and stitch in some of the colors. I also am getting ready for the satin stitch, like I'm mentally preparing for the satin stitch. So these bigger flowers in each side there that are yellow, I'm definitely going to change. I'm pretty sure, I shouldn't say definitely, I'm pretty sure I'm going to change the color from haystack to a not yellow color that goes along with the chart. Anyways, I was watching Nicola's video with Janine from Janice from Traditional Stitches about the hats exclusive that they have at Traditional Stitches that I'm waiting for. I have the chart there, I'm waiting for the floss and the linen. They were talking about how there's satin stitch in that, just like there is in this chart, and that once we get to that point in the stitch along, that they're going to have a video about how to do padded satin stitch. I was like, wait, padded satin stitch? Like, so satin stitch is new to me. I have embroidered before new satin stitch. I've not padded it. I'm not an expert embroiderer by any means. So where I'm going with this is I searched on YouTube. Nicola posted a video from one of her stitchers. I don't remember who the person was, who kind of didn't show like as she was satin stitching, but kind of showed the different steps, how you satin stitch the opposite perpendicular direction from where your satin stitches are supposed to go. First 2 loops for each hole, and then you go back and do 2 loops for each hole, like the way that the chart shows your stitching direction to go, and it gives this like nice beautiful padded finish, and really kind of helps those satin stitches stand out. So I want to try that, and so I'm excited to do it, but I know a couple things. One, because I stitch in hand, well, I mean, if you stitched in a hoop too, depending on your size, you'd struggle with this too, but you're supposed to save them to the end so that you don't crush them with your hoop or your hands. The second thing is I'm probably going to use a hoop because I want to make sure that I get my tension right, and I'm nervous that I'm going to struggle with tension going over longer distances with a satin stitch. So I'm definitely going to use a frame and have a chance to get out my lap stand, which I don't use very often. So I'm excited to see how they turn out. The other thing was, satin stitch. So you go perpendicular, and then you go the way that you're supposed to go according to the chart, and then you back stitch around where you're supposed to satin stitch, and that's supposed to like clean it up and make those edges nice and crisp. It looks beautiful, the stitching that this person did. It's a video on Nicola's FlossTube. I don't know how far back you would have to go. I just found it like in the YouTube searches, and it was the only one that I could tell just like quickly thumbing through that was specific to cross stitch versus like embroidery. Okay, so those are, I totally scrolled there. Those are my 24 hours of cross stitch. So I didn't make my whole 24 hours. I actually got way closer than I thought I was going to. When I got the yellow done, I was at 23 hours and 15 minutes. It was around 10 or so last night, and I thought about staying up and getting my full 24 hours in, putting a few of the blue tops on those yellow flowers. And I just have been really trying to listen to my body and have balance, and I think that's why I was like pushing it to the end. I spent a lot of time this weekend resting. I slept in, I went to bed early, I took naps, I laid down or just rested when I wasn't feeling great. I've been getting over like this cold since mid-December that's turned into a sinus infection that has then wreaked havoc on my stomach, and I just have not been feeling the best. So I've been trying to find balance, essentially. Cross stitch is my therapy. It has been for the last year and a few months that I've been stitching. It brings me a lot of joy and calm. It's really great for decompression. I really try to stitch every day. I love the progress and everything that I see with my work. But it's not rejuvenating if I take it to the point that it's making me tired. And I'm trying to learn that balance of like, I'm really having fun, I want to stay up late and finish this, and then like what that reaps the next day, and then kind of builds, especially through the work week when I have other responsibilities. So it's a balance. And so I feel like while I didn't like win the 24 hours of cross stitch by getting all 24 hours in, I learned a lot about having goals and then adjusting and being flexible and modifying to listen to what is working for me, especially for something that like I'm not getting paid to do. Like, this is for me, and so I need to make it right for me. So that is what I gained from my 24 hours of cross stitch extravaganza this weekend, and I need to write that down in my journal so I can take that as a memory ongoing. Okay, so I do have 2 more whips that I need to show you before we move on to haul and everything else. It's really because I have so much of these like little videos inserted from 24 hours of cross stitch, I feel like I'm gonna do a really good job being brief, but who knows? Like, I don't know how much those videos add up to. Excuse me. So this is my Modern Folk Embroidery 2023 sal. This is my progress so far. I think the last time you saw this, I still had some border to finish at the top. So I got in almost all the way to the January ending point on the alternate. This is the alternate top border and side border. I'm going to do the original border on this side and hope that it looks okay, that they don't match, because I kind of want it to be like not less matte. I mean, I think it'll match because it's still like negative stitching, but it will hopefully just kind of be more interesting, a little bit different. So I got this middle tree in, and I started the bird next to it, which I don't even know if that's technically, that's not even January. So this is where I'm struggling with this piece, is in the middle. Like, I start working on those motifs, and then I want to stitch like more like down. I want to complete it or like use up my floss, and so I'm stitching more than what's January, but I need to get January done. So I have a tree of birds or something, tree or some kind of motif of birds on each side of this, and like some snowflakes speckled in, and then to finish, not that side, and then finish this border down to about, I think it's like 30 or 42, something like that. 42 probably down here. So I don't think I have a ton of time left in this if I can stick to what is like truly January. But that's going to be the key, is can I stick to what's truly January. Loving this stitch so far, loving that it's on 36 count. It gives my eyes a little bit of a break. So I almost completely squirreled Saturday because I had grand plans for 24 hours cross stitch when I started. There were so many other projects I was going to touch, Isabella's heart. So excited that I got that done. Took way longer than I thought it was going to. And I picked this up and I put like 2 stitches in it. I didn't even count it. And I made myself like stop and go shower. I was just totally squirreling. But I love this stitch. I did see someone, I'm sorry that I don't remember who you were. I should try to look back. I don't remember if it was in Modern Folk Embroidery or Off the Grid Needle Arts this weekend. They finished this and they used this color palette primarily, but the birds were bluebirds and they were so beautiful. So it makes me want to pull out the blue that came in the collaboration, the holiday countdown box, and then get like another couple darker blues in there and do something similar. Because we also, this person was from Nova Scotia, somewhere out that way, and said that they get bluebirds in the winter. We don't get bluebirds here because we're not very good about feeding them, but my in-laws who don't live very far, so sorry, we get bluebirds in Michigan during the winter. My in-laws get them because they feed them. We are not as good about feeding them. There was someone else that I was watching. Oh, I think it was Sanctum Stitching. They were on their FlossTube. They were talking about birds and how they haven't had a ton in their new house. what I've learned from my father-in-law, who is a wildlife biologist, is they are definitely slower at the feeders when there isn't snow on the ground. So, and I know in Ohio and Michigan, we haven't had a lot of snow, at least lower Michigan. We haven't had a lot of snow this winter after that big storm. So that might be why they're not seeing it. Totally squirreling. Okay, so this is Dream of Winter. I have some work to do on this, but I want to get back at it. So, I put a few stitches in here. Actually, I think since you last saw it, I didn't count this as 24 hours cross stitch, but I think since you last saw it, I got some more border, I got the border in, and then I started this teal and like these two colors together. That's why I like went to look at it to see where it was at, and remind myself what mistake I had made, which I'll tell you in a second. And I saw these two colors together. It's not showing up super well, but this is like a deep navy, and then this teal color, like it's so good. It's so good. So mistake. All right, so follow me. So I stitch 8, 9, and then I skip one, and I was trying to match it up with the lines on the chart. And then when I got over here, I had to figure out what I had left and then stitch up. I just stitched this up a couple times, not all the way to like, until I knew that it was, anyways, I struggled a little bit, which makes sense why in a second. So I had stopped up here at the very top because I didn't want to go too far kind of thing, right? Like just to make sure I was, anyways. So what happened was somewhere in here, I stitched 8 twice instead of 9. So then I had to add 2 extra on here, but then I still wasn't lined up, and I was like, where did this come from? I don't know. I'll add an extra one because then it lines up, whatever. So I have, the moral of the story is I have an extra stitch here because I did my math wrong when I was compensating for my mistakes. And I know I have an extra one here because as I was stitching this one along, I got off a thread compared to the border. Well, look at what I did. Like literally, this was Christmas Day. I'm so excited to start this. Like literally, like the 10th stitch I put in was 1 thread too many. And then here was 1 thread too many. I think that's right. So what does 3 and 3 equal? 6. So I had an extra stitch in there, right? So instead of 4, I had 6 stitches, if that makes sense. So 1 extra stitch, or 6 threads. So 1 extra stitch. So really, the good news is to fix this, all I have to do is frog this set of 9, if it is even 9, and then come back a thread and march it over, and then there'll be an extra stitch here, and then I'll be back on track. And then I have to pull this whole side out, frog this whole side, and bring it over 1 stitch, and then I'll be good to go. I mean, it's a pretty small piece, so like it's not horrible. The straight stitching goes pretty quick. It could be way worse. But I know that because of the way the borders are built and everything, I'm going to be way off if I don't fix that over there. I don't think it's unavoidable. I mean, it could be, but I'm close enough to the beginning that I want to fix it. So I will have to undo before I do. So who knows what this will look like when you see it, but I'm loving, this is like a double border. So like it wraps, I don't even know how to do it right. Like, it's great. So I'm loving that, and I want to work on that more. I didn't work I think this is maybe 1 night of stitching that I worked on this, not a ton since you last saw it. But now that Isabella's heart is done, I feel like I have a little bit more attention to give other things. Okay, so we're done with whips. Let's do some haul. Let me try and clear out my pile. Whoops. And see if I can get some haul in here. Okay. So I didn't think I had very much haul. And then the mail came today and I got a haul. So I had ordered some heartstring samplery. She did, Beth Twist in 2018, she did a whole 12-month festive little fobs edition where every month she came out with like a grouping of festive fobs. So really tiny small pieces. I had 2 that I had gotten at the cross stitch store, I don't remember the name of it, in London, Ontario, that I stopped at before I went to the Evertote workshop that Caroline had. And I pulled those out to start thinking about my small exchange for Stitch North Weekend 1. I'm so excited. And I wasn't sure that I had what I wanted, so I threw a couple more in my cart for 1, 2, 3 Stitch. So this is the spring one. There's birds and bunnies and flowers. Thought that might be good for, because it's going to be spring. Of course, the woodland one, so squirrels and foxes and those mushrooms. So that's just more like my style. And then I thought the Valentine's ones, even though I'm not like huge Valentine's Day, I thought those would be fun. The birds and the dog. Not a huge heart fan, but so yeah, those are fun. I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do for the small. I think traditionally smalls are a little bit bigger than a fob, but I'm thinking about maybe like a front and a back. And then like extra like knot stitching stuff to kind of make it like, anyways, I don't want to give too much away. Okay, and then I had talked about this last week. Here is my Caroline Evertote coffee stain bag for the Stitching with Caroline sale that is starting February 14th. We are stitching heartstring sampleries. C is for coffee. Here is my thread pack. And here is my linen. And I think this is Snickerdoodle. So I chose 36 count. I'm starting to try to go to, like, not go 100% 36 count, but kind of shake things up with 36 count. I like 36 count because I can still use one strand, but it's a little bit of a higher count. So that, oh, it came with a needle minder. Is it in here? Oh, here it is. Carrie, or I don't know if Carrie made it, but it came from Roxy Floss Co. The needle minder to go with it. So that's fun. It's a magnet on the back. So yeah, I'm excited about that and ready for that to start. The other chart, this was what was in the mailbox the day that I filmed, but I had forgotten to go get it. This is Rosina Dizery 1820. So how this chart came along, it's gorgeous. It's so fun. It says, "O truth whom millions proudly slight, O truth, my treasure and delight, accept this tribute for thy name and this poor heart from which it came. Rosina Dizery, aged 15 years, New York African Free School, April 1820. So I bought this, we had MLK Day off of work, and I was thinking about like what I might stitch. I didn't end up getting to this because it barely came in time and I didn't have the flosses and everything for it. But this was, to my knowledge, the only reproduced cross-stitch sampler stitched by a African-American schoolgirl. Her story, Rosina Dizery, is really cool. So she grew up in New York City. We don't know if her parents were slaves or not. We think that maybe they were at least at some point. And she married a man who was a caterer, and they became quite wealthy in New York, and well known for their catering business. I will try to remember to put in there's a video, it's linked in the chart. There's a video that the museum that has her original sampler, they did a video about Rosina's life, as much of the history as they could surmise from records. So I had never heard of the New York African Free School. It was primarily run by Quakers, and it's just a really interesting, and I think, you know, this history is important, and I learned a lot. So at some point I do want to stitch this, because I think there's a lot of stitching like this doesn't get celebrated like it should. So let's see. Okay, so I had another Evertote order I had talked about last week. Remember that I was working on a conversion for Dog's Declaration by Ink Circles, and I needed to order some colors. I wanted to get some more browns just to make sure that I had like the right browns that I wanted. Sorry about the rain sprinkling. This just came in the mail. So I bought some truffle in case I still want to do brown for the letters instead of that darker maroon color. Here's brunette. I didn't expect brunette. It's like almost, let me see if I can put up against the white. It's almost black. It's definitely, it's brown. Hold on, I'm showing you two colors. It's brown, but like it's, if you didn't know any better, it would be black. And then I lied. I'm so sorry. This is brunette. This is definitely brown. This was green and Barrett. And then espresso. So just trying to get like some like different shades of brown. This is redwood. This was the contender based on the pictures online that I thought I might use for the brown, for the letters instead. And I actually, looking at it now, it's showing up a little oranger than it is in real life. I think that might be the winner for the, we'll have to see. So anyways, just because there's all those different animals in there that are also different other things, like it's kind of complicated to convert. And so I just wanted some options and to like have some in my Floss catalog so that when I am working on conversions, I have some reference. So I did order some cinnamon, which I think I already had. And then brass tacks is a one-of-a-kind. Katie from Making Things with Strings is using brass tacks as one of her Modern Folk Embroidery 2023 Sal colors. And so I wanted to have that one. Some asparagus, which is a standard color. I had never had one in order, and sometimes it's hard to tell from the website. It's showing up just a little bit limier than what it is in person. Oh my gosh, love this color, the Whiz. This is in Turkish Delight, but I wanted one for like my Floss collection, and then can't go wrong with some Deja Blue. So just wanted to kind of have a couple options to pick from for that conversion, and then kind of bolster like my catalog, if you will, and my stash for Leo and Roxy. But you know, Floss can't come alone, right? That's like a rule, right? Cross stitch rule number 5. Floss can never travel in the mail alone. Don't even ask me what I was doing. 46 count snickerdoodle. It's a quarter cut yard. It's 46 count, so it's huge, right? Because 46 count is wider, I think, than standard. Carrie told me that I can tell it's 46 count because it's frayed at the edge here. That's how you know it's 46 when it's Zweigert. It's a really pretty color, neutral with some slight gentle modeling. I'm sure it will be gorgeous on whatever I choose to put it on someday. It just hopped in my cart. I wasn't even watching, and it just jumped right in. And then Blank Slate. So Blank Slate, remember, I have kitted in 32 count maybe for the Winter Quakers from Roxy Floss Co. and Evertote. And I'm sorry, I have a hair on my tongue. I decided I wanted to go smaller for the count, so I got to pull that fabric out of my stash and put this one back in, or put this one in its place. So because I want all the pieces to be the same, so I wanted them all on the same count. I didn't want to stitch with 2 strands. It was too sparse on 32 count with just 1 strand. Thus this one. And this is, I just finished stitching this on Isabella's Heart on a 28 count Blank Slate. I love it as much. Like I look at it now and I'm like, this one right here is pretty real. True to life. Like it's just gorgeous. Like I can't stop looking at it. It's beautiful. I love Leo and Roxy linen. So I had ordered these when one was on sale a while ago. And you know, I just wanted to do it again. So I got an Evertote. It's a 25 gram because I resist the urge for the 50. I should have showed you the label. It is Leo and Roxy Floss Co. Surprise Pack. So it's like they weigh floss cards. They're not all like full. Like look at this one. This is like beep beep. A little baby card of something. Oh, there's 2 on there. Look at that. So just little like leftovers as they're loading things. Oh, some of them are labeled, some aren't. So that one wasn't labeled. This one is Perry. That was a Floss Club color Earl Grey, but it feels maybe slightly thin. I love Earl Grey. I'm stitching with that on something. It is in Ellen's Conversion. Some Haystack. Haystack is a staple yellow. I got a lot of this already in my stash, but I'm here for this dark blue. This is going to be a monochromatic sampler someday. A little tiny bit of Salty Place. Love me some Salty Place. This is like a super almost black blue. That I would say that this dye is pretty black. I don't know, maybe my light isn't good. Ooh, this one is this one's a little special. It'll need some love before it goes on my string. Salmon, or my string, on my ring, my stash ring. Oh, it's someone's handwriting right there. Partial. Some arugula, so not quite a whole skein of arugula. This looks like, if I was a betting person, I would say that this is asparagus. That's showing way more brown than it is in real life. But that's some kind of green like that. I don't know about this one. This might be, sometimes they're like off dyes. This is a really pretty red. This is going to be like Inappropriate or Falou. Got Falou sitting right here. It looks pretty close to Falou red, which is another staple. And then this looks like one of the brighter reds. This is like a good Christmas red. This might be 11 points more, 11 points more, somewhere in there. I have those in my stash too, so I can compare them and see what they might be. But I'm totally spitballing, guessing what those things are. So super fun just to kind of see mystery what I get. And then project bags are on sale. I've been looking at this one for a while. It's cross stitch themed. I love Caroline's bags. It also hopped in my cart. So, and it came with a project bag. These gold X's, I don't know if you can tell, are just a little bit metallic. So I actually don't need a project bag. I'm trying to like bring down my whips, but I mean I do, right? Like I always need a project bag. Okay, I have Floss Club colors for February. If you haven't gotten yours yet and you don't want to have it, oh my gosh, these are gorgeous. Don't want to have it ruined, look away. I will not name the names because I don't want to spoil it if you're just looking away and you're still listening. This color is, like, I need more of this color. This might be my new, this is going to be a monochrome sampler because it's like right up my alley. It's this one. I need to have more of that in my life. I will have to let Caroline know. So that was the brights. And then this is the neutrals. This is a great palette. This looks a lot like the coffee palette. This looks really close to what I would need for some colors that I would use for the Pursuit of Squirrels, actually. So yeah, I'm excited about those colors and I'll look at them closer. Okay, you can look back if you looked away. All right, I'm almost done. Okay, that was on my Roxy Evertote haul. I have a special unboxing. I haven't even looked. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do this with my camera angle. I don't want to show you my address label. So this box came from Cedar River Linen today. I've been waiting for a while for it to come. It shipped last week. It came pretty fast once it actually like showed that it had shipped. It comes packaged. She's all about sustainable, right? So there's this like brown, like recyclable paper tape that it came very sturdily sealed in. And then this beautiful box. We're gonna open it up and take a peek together. There we go. I only cut the tape. I did not actually open anything. Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, look, a little handwritten note. How nice. From Jody. Trixie Tricycle on YouTube. This is her, if you don't know, this is her brand new business. Jody, how did you know that one of my favorite colors is purple? So, with your order, you could add for free to your cart this cedar. That is her logo, and it was made by Beth Twist's husband. Oh gosh, it smells so good. And he is calling his wood shop that supporting Beth's business and kind of like all the cross stitch accessories. He's calling it the boardroom, which is, I love me a good dad joke pun, so I'm here for it. Look at this gorgeous wrapping. You can definitely tell she took time to package this for me. She's got beautiful branded, I mean, you've probably seen lots of these as people have ordered them. And then inside are all of my little individually wrapped linens, which is also super fun. Okay, let's see what I got. Oh, this is not what I was expecting, and I don't know if we're gonna get good color here with my lighting the way it is. So this one is 36 count tephra. This is, I think, I don't want to guess. Tephra. Okay, so it's a little bit pinker than what it's showing up as. It's really like, I think this is the darker of her neutrals, darkest of her neutrals. She named this after like what comes when the volcano erupts, like the soot that comes and sits on everything is like this color. So that's what she named it. So this is the 36 in tephra. And her tags are also beautiful. Look, they've got her logo on them and what it is. So this is 40 count overcast. So a little bit lighter, like a medium neutral, I believe. Oh yes, because here is my like white neutral. And then this is 36 count albarium. And that's a lighter one. These colors are getting washed out. They're a little, I mean, the white is pretty true. These two are, I would say, just ever so slightly richer than what's showing. So those were my quarter yard cuts. And then this one was only available in a half yard cut in the count that I wanted. And so here it is. Overcast in 36 count. So I had the 40. This is 36 count overcast. Again, this was like my first, look at the modeling on this. Gorgeous. This is my first, like, I need to add some 36 count to my stash because I legit, before this last couple stash hauls, I didn't have any 36. If I went to my drawer for 36, there was nothing there. Gorgeous. Thank you so much, Jody. I love it. I love these. Like, I want the smell to be stronger. I'm gonna put this, like, this is making me want to like redo my linen drawer. My linen drawer, it is full of, like, I have all of my fabric wrapped in individual plastic Ziploc bags, like from Amazon, because they're like the small ones that like fit it just right, so it fits in my drawer just right, and like having it in the bag kind of compresses it. I know it's not good for it now, like I know better now, I didn't then. And so this makes me want to have a better system for my linen, but also so that I can still paw through it and see what I have fairly easily without making a huge mess. All right, so plans really quick and then we're done. This is not shorter than it was normal one. I'm sorry. Just so much to share with you. So plans. This morning I went to the eye doctor. We try to get vision insurance every other year. So that didn't work out very well for us last year because my daughter needed glasses. But anyway, so we skipped last year and I had started cross stitching. When I stitch anything higher than 36 count, so 40 and 46, I wear 2 pairs of glasses because I wear the readers for magnification and my normal glasses to correct for my astigmatism because the readers don't do that on its own. So I went to the eye doctor this morning and my prescription hasn't changed much, so I did end up getting new glasses for like every day, but these will work just fine also. And then he gave me a prescription that corrected for my astigmatism, but also then allowed me to put some magnification in it. So those will be my stitching glasses. I got on Warby Parker because I've heard good things from people about it. I don't know if they do the thing where like when they process your order, they print the shipping label like with your order and then they'll make it, but like at 10:30 this morning, I put the order in. They verified my prescription and told me that it was like on its way. I did pay the extra $25 for like expedited, but still like super fast. So we'll see when it like truly gets in the mail, but it should be here within the week. I'm super excited to stitch 40 count and higher without 2 pairs of glasses. It like causes a lot of pressure on my head. It just looks funny too. You know, he was like, do you want bifocals? I'm like, no, I don't think I want to go that far. So we're just going to go with kind of the method that I'm using right now, which is if I'm looking at FlossTube, which is usually what I'm watching when I'm stitching, I just kind of look over the top of my glasses. But okay, all that to say, hibernation day, I showed this last week. It has not come out. It's coming out tomorrow and the next day for sure, because it is the 24th and 25th of the month. And if I don't touch it throughout as much as I want to, I'm at least going to touch it every month on the days that are associated with Christmas and December. So that is the plan for that. Otherwise, it is what you've already seen. It is Monofocal Embroidery 2023, getting that cut up through January. There's always room, continuing to work on that. And then Turkish Delight a little bit, hopefully every day or every few days. I could work on that a really long time. My eyes do get a little bit tired after a while. It's mostly, it's my eyes and my neck, because I bring it closer to see it better, and then I'm like hunched over a little bit. But I do need to go through my whips. So yesterday, Caroline did this last year too. It was a lot of fun. She is doing a Finish It Up. So Off the Grid Needle Arts is Caroline's Facebook group. Caroline is the owner of Evertote, if you haven't caught that yet. So she planned a Finish It Up weekend next weekend. We have some plans. We're going to the symphony to see the movie is played, and then like the symphony plays underneath it. So I'm taking my daughter to that, and it's two shows, so Friday night and Sunday afternoon. Anyways, so there won't be quite as much stitching maybe next weekend, but I need to go through my whips and figure out if I have anything that's close to being finishable so that I can participate or not. But either way, you know, every stitch is working towards a finish. So if you're interested in joining that group, and you know, stitching along with us, it's a really great, welcoming, fun group. So you can search for that on Facebook, and it is a closed group. I believe you have to get a request to, like, you have to submit a request to get invited or to get in, and then you're good to go. I do have a giveaway I'm gonna try out this week. Going through my charts, I signed up for a Forbidden Fiber chart floss linen pack last year, and it's just, the pattern's great, it's just not my style. I don't see this like going up on my wall, and so like I don't stitch it if it's not something that like I kind of see in my home or like using. And so it is this Forbidden Fiber Magnolia chart. It says, "This world needs who you were meant to be." It's a really great sentiment. Just not my jam, but it's great. So it does have the DMC conversion for it on the back. I am squirreling away the flosses, so it will be just the chart. I am going to open it only to the United States for now, just because of shipping and everything, and might be kind of like dipping my toe in the water of giveaways. Please don't say giveaway or win. Be 18 so that you can legally give me your address, like all the FlossTube things that I'm sure I'm not your first FlossTuber. So, and then I will look for Magnolia in the comments. Magnolia. So, yeah, that's everything. I hope you are all well and you have a really great week, and that your stitching brings you lots of joy, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.